Hi, everyone. Well, just give you a little bit background myself so you understand what I'm talking about. I think China, to some of you, might be mysterious, and there could be some dragons out there. But I just want to give you more information because my experience. As he mentioned that I grew up in China and I went to US in '96. But I came back and forth in 2005 and 2007. I actually established 2 companies in China. So in the early days, I actually became an investor in involvement in the blockchain industry pretty early. And in 2014, in Austin, Texas, I worked with several friends and started with Factom. At that time, I looked at many, potential entrepreneurship or projects at the time, and I think blockchain was really the direction I want to go with. And one of the very important reasons is I think China needs blockchain, and I did some research I think back in the '80s. One of the big problems in China is something social problems called credibility crisis, and people don't trust each other, and business don't trust business, and the blockchain is a very good way to solve that problem. So when I joined the project for Factom, and I thought that there's a huge potential market in China as well. So in 2014, I started getting connected with the blockchain community in China. And also, I was responsible for the community and also the market for China as well. So 2015, I toured China, many different places, give speeches and building the partnership, and also trying to sell the blockchain solutions to China. But at that time, there's some challenges. As all we know, China is very high, or we call it regulatory or regulation-heavy country, and you have to be compliant. You have to comply with the government regulations, and there's a lot of security concerns in terms of data and how you operate in China. And later on, I figured out that Google might have an issue in China. You need to build a Baidu. And you have to be present inside China. So in 2016, I started looking into building a local company in China called Wanglue. And Wanglue company is more of an enterprise solution provider, and started building the blockchain solutions for enterprises, the government, different government level institutions. And at the same time, I started working on the WAN-chain solution. It's more of a connecting all the blockchains together. So that's my background. So China is very important. As all we know, in the industry, I start with mining. It's a huge industry in China. So with the mining, all the Bitcoins or many other coins, they have to go somewhere, right? So in China, it's a huge industry. And a lot of educated, very experienced token holders or investors, or we call it traders. So we know there are a lot of exchanges started from China. And the population is huge as well. Huge. Some people would say multi-million. Some people estimate even higher. But compared to the traditional finance, this is even bigger. I mean, we say 120 million in the stockholders, and we have peer-to-peer lending, so internet finance, 30 plus million people. So this is just get started. So in the 2016 or earlier, China announced that China Central Bank will start the research on the digital currency. So early 2017, the Crypto or Digital Currency Institute was officially established. So this is the direction, and I will always see it. Blockchain technology is very welcome in China. But as we all know, it's the September 4th, 7 government administrations announced ICO as illegal. The reason for that is there's just too many scams out there. China has 2 major concerns. One is the money laundering, money going out of China, in and out of China. And the second one is a lot of general populations, grandma and grandpa, participated in many ICOs. There's a potential risk for the social stability. For those 2 issues, I think that's the red, or we call it red line, to do the blockchain business in China. So, after the ban, actually, people estimated there are a lot of underground modified ICO activities in China. They are saying that actually the population increased tenfold since the regulation. And the government will do something, but they were a little bit puzzled how to do it, right? Will this token economy, they don't want to stifle the innovation. At the same time, they want social stability. So on the left, it's really the wording from the governor of the PBOC, and he just stepped down. There's a new governor just happened a couple of days ago. But he's saying, going forward, the regulation will be dynamic. Dynamic meaning that we already have the regulations coming out in September, but based on what's happening down the road, the regulation will be dynamic. I think that's very important for us to see. At the same time, for the industry, we are also looking for a way out, right? And people are trying, sorry for the translation from the left, the original word for token is called proxy coins. And we're trying to translate that in a different way called general certificate for the tokens. We all know that this is not stoppable. And the question is how, right? And on the right-hand side, there's so many traditional established companies, especially the internet companies. They're trying to issue tokens. They're trying to build a token economy. I think it's a no-brainer for the internet companies to issue assets to get money, for fundraising, at the same time, to get more users. Sorry for the Chinese over here. But on the other side, blockchain technology is very welcome in all levels of government. So there's tons of companies, blockchain companies, hundreds of them now, blockchain companies spread around, trying to build tokenless or traditional blockchain technology to be used in different applications. Of course, majority of them will be still in the finance area. And even on the right-hand side, it's really for the BAT, called Baidu, Tencent, and Alibaba. They all put a lot of money and effort, build different teams for the blockchain space. So it's kind of mixed in this environment. So on the one hand, for the digital currency, we call it token economy. This is growing very fast, and a lot of them are underground. And we know that the trend is not stoppable. At the same time, on the other side, we call it traditional finance. Blockchain technology is being used or being explored, and we wonder whether these two lines will be cross each other one day. And we offer a solution we call Wanchain. We're trying to connect all the public chains and private chain together. Private chain, as we all know, the enterprise solutions for the banking institutions or other enterprise institutions. So we put Wanchain in the middle, use the cross-chain technology to connect public chains and private chains. And how do we do it? We use 3 key technologies. One is privacy protection. We use ring signature, one-time account, and stamp systems. And also cross-chain, we have a very unique way called secure multi-party computation and threshold key sharing. This way allows us to connect with any blockchain, public chain and private chain. At the end, also smart contracts. The smart contracts we pretty much inherit from Ethereum. So pretty much what you can do on Ethereum, you can do on Wanchain. The benefit of doing this on Wanchain is now, because we have cross-chain capability, now we make it really programmable for all the tokens as long as they are connected to Wanchain. So what is a Wanchain? I want to play a video. All right, sorry, there's no audio. Can somebody play the audio as well? All right, sorry. But that's okay. I'm gonna ask my colleague Dustin to give you a little bit more introduction about the use cases of Wanchain. At the same time, what's coming up for Wanchain. So, Dustin.
How was lunch? Lunch was good? Everyone's full? All right, thanks for coming back. I know the room was a little empty, so I appreciate you coming back for this. So here, Jack gave you a nice overview of Wanchain and what we're working on. One way to kind of mentally conceptualize this is just think of we are our own blockchain, and we're a fork of Ethereum. So just imagine if Ethereum had ring signatures and all the protocol tokens. What could you do with that? You could do a lot of things with it. It's really powerful what this elegant solution, some of the systemic problems this elegant solution can unlock. For example, a lot of us have probably experienced EtherDelta. This is a decentralized exchange that runs on Ethereum. And one of the big problems, other than the clunky UI, is that it is limited to the sort of galaxy of ERC20 tokens. And so with Wanchain, building a decentralized exchange on Wanchain has really clear immediate benefits. And that is being able to open up to the whole universe of protocol tokens. And so now we can build these really powerful applications simply with smart contracts once we use this cross-chain technology to kind of port all of the digital assets onto our chain. And the porting of digital assets is also, there's a lot of folks that are in the cross-chain space, and our solution is rather unique. No one is kind of approaching it with this secure multi-party compute technology. One of the big advantages of SMPC is that it's permissionless. And that means that we can hook up to any other blockchain without needing their permission, without requiring any kind of like soft or hard fork, and that allows us to scale quite effectively. We can hook into chains that are either, that have VMs or scripting languages like Bitcoin, and so it allows us to work with a vast number of chains. And so in some ways so what are we going to do with this technology? One of the ways is building these DEXs. One of the partnerships we announced recently was the Kyber WAN chain DEX. Loy was up here earlier, and that's a really exciting project and partnership we're looking forward to. There are a number of others. For example, we'll be in Dubai. We'll be talking about, on April 16th, Mo Levin's World Blockchain Forum Conference. We'll be talking, announcing our first 6 applications that are building on WAN chain. And really exciting stuff in the crypto finance space. One another example is a lending platform. Lending is, there's a lot of different lending applications, but with WAN chain, it's a similar value prop in that, yeah, you can do on-chain lending with other platforms, but you're limited to a smaller set of tokens. With WAN chain, you can really expand that set and be able to swap, be able to deposit Bitcoin and receive ETH, for example. We're also, as the head of the business unit at WAN chain, I think a lot about how to scale the applications that are built on top of our platform. Ultimately, all these platforms are judged by the quality and quantity of applications that are built on top of them. There's big values with these ecosystems, and that's really the true value in the space is building really strong ecosystems. And so WAN chain, we have a WAN chain accelerator. And so if you have a project that can leverage some of these core competencies, please come reach out to us. We've got a booth here. And we take projects. A lot of times we find projects that have a founder that has some vertical expertise, a lot of passion, a lot of good vision, some rough white paper. They can do things like really kind of leverage some of the strengths of our platform, but there's a lot of work to go from idea to actual realization. And so we help provide a lot of different services, whether it's funding or helping you with all of the many different steps on the way to realizing that success. So if you have one of those applications, please feel free to kind of reach out to us. We're really looking forward to the future here. The digital economy is coming, and WAN chain will be a big, strong anchor in that. There's many different use cases that really can't even be dreamed up yet. We're really looking forward to seeing those evolve and seeing those projects take advantage of our technology. Jack mentioned some of these enterprise clients, like big publicly traded companies that are now starting to get in the blockchain space. We're seeing firsthand a lot more of that, which I think is very bullish for the industry. In Dubai, we'll be talking specifically about the 3 projects there that are these fairly significant enterprise clients that are now starting to figure out that this digital economy is real and there's real advantages for them and their shareholders and et cetera. And one last thing too is compliance. One of the projects we're working on has the ability to tokenize, to take compliance and actually put it into the token itself. So I think what we'll see is a movement away from, and generally what you have are the exchanges are what holds the compliance and the assets are dumb. But now what we're going to see is these exchanges will be dumb and the assets will be smart. And so these assets will actually have compliance baked into them, and that allows you to do things like, follow, whatever kind of compliance standards you want in whichever jurisdiction you want. And that also means that WAN chain will support security tokens. And so that really opens up the realm of assets that can participate and utilize and make use of our platform. And the last kind of box to check off is the other thing that we do support are private chains, consortium chains. And these are chains that will natively hook up to WAN chain. And so if you have like a group of stakeholders that are sort of like shifting around IOUs effectively, every once in a while they can hook into WAN chain to access liquidity. One of the things I just wanted to get across, if you have any projects that can leverage any of these strengths of ours, feel free to reach out and appreciate your time. Hopefully you all enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.